I created this Evernote file, and I'm going to give it to you guys. So this is why you want to stick around. And I'm going to be fleshing out this Evernote file even more. Okay, but I'm going to give it to you for those who are inside the Easy Webinar room. So you come into the Easy Webinar room where we are running this live event. I'm going to just give this to you guys. But the thing is, I'm always editing it, right? And the reason I'm decided to do this is because this is a program that I had at one point, all about like launching a course in like a short period of time, like in 90 days. And it was all this reverse engineering of launching a program and course, like, because for me, I mean, this is how I started out. I started off as a course creator, and then merged into being the founder of a webinar tool, because I found that webinars were like the best thing for course creators. So it made sense that was kind of my evolution, or it just happened to be because I was like, I loved how webinars were so effective for me. But today, what I'm going to be doing, Evernote and workflow are great. Yeah, exactly. So what I'm going to be doing today is sharing a little bit of insight as to how to basically speed up your course creation experience. I'm going to share with you how it literally took me 6 months to build my first course, and when I did build my course, it just bombed. I couldn't get it out into the world at all, and it was really difficult to actually make sales from it. I also didn't know what to charge for my course. I didn't know how much to give away. I wasn't sure if people would pay the money for it. I didn't know how to sell it consistently. So today I want to give clarity on all of that, whether you have questions on that, on a more consistent way of selling, on pricing your programs, on how to basically list build and things like that. That's what we're going to be talking about. So very first thing I want to ask is, are you currently selling an online course, or are you thinking about selling an online course? Okay. Let me know. Do you have an online course at the moment, or are you thinking about an online course? So go ahead and put and let me know in the chat. So we're trying to create a new one, says Alina. Judy is saying, have an online course ready to sell. Kareem says, working on one in Teachable right now. Awesome. Michael says, working on one. Luke says, yes, I have one. John says, thinking about doing an online course. William says, yes, but thinking about new Facebook shops. Interesting. Thinking about it, says Stefan. I'm in the process of creating one and trying to figure out which platform, wanting to create one. Okay. So thinking about an online course in Teachable, says Patrick, and Marlon says, have one. Trying to learn how to integrate with webinars. Great, Marlon, that makes tons of sense. And so I'm going to share with you some of my own experiences around creating a course. So please, what I would suggest doing is getting ready to take some notes, because I'm going to go into some detail, and then I have an opportunity for you guys to have an Evernote file that literally has a bunch of stuff in it that you can go back to. It is going to be, and maybe I can share my screen just to even, okay, here, this is what I'll do. I'm going to quickly share my screen so you can see what I'm going to be. I'm going to stop sharing that for a moment. First, I'm going to also bring myself in the camera. Hey there, everybody, what's happening? And let me now just share my screen and show you something that I'm wanting to get you here. It is right here. Okay, this is something I'm going to be giving to you for free. Okay, it's just today I'm going to be going over it. It is a launching a course in 60 to 90 days. And the question is, and this was actually a part of a program that I had at one point called Launch Stream, and it was all about showing you how you can create a course in an 8 to 12 week period of time and launch it in that same time. Like, conceptualize your course, launch your course, and hopefully, even if you don't have a list yet, generate sales. And when I first did this, I think my first experience doing a course launch this way, we did about $95,000 in sales just from this, with an email list of, dare I say, an early bird list of 600, 700 people on the early bird list. So if that is something that is enticing to you, that you like, let me, can you guys hear my audio okay? I just want to make sure my mic is coming in okay. Yeah. Okay. It sounds good. Okay. And does that sound? Sorry, I'm just now moving my microphone up the ladder here, so to speak. There. So does that sound good? Would that be fair if I give you guys this and we go through it a little bit in a little bit here? Yeah. Okay. But first, is it okay if I go back to my presentation here? But this is something I'm going to be giving all of you. Okay. So there's a link. I'm going to be sharing the Evernote file link, so you'll have it while we go through it. Okay. And so this is for you, so you don't make some of the mistakes I've made, where I have literally taken 6 months to build a course out, and in the 6 months, I couldn't sell it after that. So what I have here is kind of like a launch plan around getting your course built and out in about 60 to 90 days. And then this is going to be continuously fleshed out. Okay, so this is not the final version of this. I'm going to have links and all sorts of stuff in here because truth be told, I'm considering making this into a program. So if you're here and you're getting access to this right now, you're kind of I'm just giving it to you. But I'm planning on making it a program. And if it's something you want to do as a program where we go in more depth, just let me know. This is something, by the way, that I do on a higher level, on a group coaching level with my tribe-minded folks. But this, I was thinking about making more of a do-it-yourself program. That one is more done with you. It's coaching, so it's high level. But if you do want to get more information on that, I can get you over there as well. But this is where what we have here. So let me stop sharing. Okay, hold on. And then I'm going to go back in and share my slides. There we go. Okay, so let's dig in and go through this. So you guys know who I am, and if you don't know by now, I'm the founder of Easy Webinar. I've been working with Easy Webinar for several years now. We started off as a WordPress plugin and then migrated into being a full webinar platform that does both live and automated webinars. And when we've worked with people on a higher level, we've seen clients generate anywhere from 10 to 20,000 a day. And it's amazing to see that. So people that actually are generating like $500,000 to more a month in recurring revenue, leveraging Easy Webinar, leveraging our systems. And it's cool to see. And so we've gotten really pretty effective at what kind of systems work and things like that, right? Works really well for course creators. Things that a lot of people may not know about me is that I started off as an actor. Founded Easy Webinar in 2013. We actually launched it probably in around the end of 2013, beginning of 2014. We did our first launch with Easy Webinar in the 2015. And so some of these launch strategies go, I'm pulling from a lot of different sources, but that's the first time we did a pretty large launch on the platform. I've done everything. I've been a course creator, consultant, video marketing consultant, working with companies like Estee Lauder and Dell. Those are some of the things. I'm going to actually breeze through some of my quote unquote bio, because you probably come to some of my webinars before. But the point is, if you are a course creator or someone looking to create a course, or even a consultant who may want to take what you're doing and put it more into a organized course, like maybe if you're offering a service and you want to sort of quote unquote productize the service, I've been there. I understand that same exact thing. So here's the thing. Back in 2012, when I literally, this is when I started back in 2012, I spent 6 months building my online course called YouTube Revealed. And I thought about quitting so many times because I built this huge, massive thing. First, I had to teach myself how to, where I would build it, right? So I got WordPress, and I had, at the time, I used Wishlist, and I was just creating all these videos, video content after video content and video content. It took me 6 months to build. And by the time I was done building it, I had to redo a lot of the videos because it was all about YouTube. And after 6 to 8 months, YouTube's stuff had changed, right? So I always had to go back in. I was really getting frustrated every time I did this. And I had a YouTube course. I don't have a YouTube course at the moment. The last one I did, William's asking about that, was for amazing.com, and I don't think it's on there anymore. So maybe I'll revamp it. It's something I have in my, all of my stuff. But yeah, but when I did, I just couldn't get it out there in a speedy way, and it was a behemoth of a course, and so I always had to redo it. It wasn't agile, right? So what I'm going to teach you today is how to create your program and course in an agile way. Okay, agile way, depending on if you're British or just weird like I am, saying it in multi different ways. And I remember almost quitting a few times because of how challenging it was getting to market it, right? I had to be this course creator, a creator and a marketer at the same time. It was not an easy process. It was definitely not an easy process. So that's awesome. Yeah, William, YouTube is doing really well. Yeah. I see, and that's the thing is I didn't just want it to work; it had to work. I was going on default on my mortgage, and my family's life was on the line, right? So I needed this stuff to work. So that's when I started to, look at different ways to market it in a bigger and better way. But it took me a long time, and the pain was real. And I was looking, and I was saying, like, how are other people doing this? How are other people making like millions off of course creation, right? I couldn't figure it out. And this is what the reality is. Course creation is hard, and most people won't make it. I remember one of my mentors, like at the time, he said, Casey, I said, I don't think, I think I'm going to quit. And he was like, listen, don't quit, because like, if you have a little bit of faith that's going to work, and I can tell you it will work, but you have to continue to push and push and push. If you continue to do it, then you will find success. At most aren't willing to put themselves in that pain of doing, right? And it's like, fine. So I did it. I really pushed forward through the pain, right? And in 2012, I was able to actually generate sales for my course. And that year, I did about $245,000 worth of sales for my first course that I ever launched out, right? But it wasn't easy, and I had one strategy that I was using that entire time, and I'm going to share that in a minute. But so you might be wondering, where do you find the traffic? Where do you find the right audience? And what are some ways to create a consistent sale? I don't know if that's something you guys have been thinking about, but that's it. The best way to start are offer free courses. And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. The reason I have my team put these together, and truthfully, having a free, like a free mini course, or some sort of something that takes the knowledge that you have and pre-packages it and then offers it up, but then is the kind of the tip of the iceberg, is a powerful tool. How many of you have free courses that are designed to build your email list? Let me know. And what I'm going to say is, if anybody is watching on Facebook, if you want to come in and get some of the freebie stuff that I mentioned, just go ahead and register. But I'm actually going to pivot now to all of my peeps. I'm going to pivot now to all of my peeps in the webinar. So much love to you guys. I'm going to go, but if you're in Facebook, do come in into the room. Okay, see ya. All right, now you guys are all in the room, but I stopped broadcasting in Facebook. So a course or a lead magnet. A lead magnet or a course can be the same thing. A lot of people will use a lead magnet, right? Which is like a freebie, like a PDF, or they'll use a webinar, which totally makes sense too, as a list builder, right? But I want you to think about this, because I have also, I'm someone who's also created things like free courses, right? The first time I ever built YouTube Revealed, I created a 7-day video marketing bootcamp course, and I just drove people through that, and it was 7 days of content. So it's a mini course, basically. It could be 4 videos. I also have the webinar. If you go to webinarminicourse.com, I still have it. Let me see. Yeah, I should still have it. Webinarminicourse.com. You can see that is also a course that I have as well. that is a freebie basically. The other thing that I have is actually straight from Easy Webinar's website on Teachable, right? Is a free course that I built. It's called the free Easy Webinar Quick Course on Teachable, and that is right here. There, I sent that out. So you can always create a free course, which basically is a lot of the times. Lindsay, that's great. First time watching on the app. Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. So a free course can be helpful. Again, this is not like the only thing you should be doing and could be doing, but when I started off, I had a couple free courses as well as webinars that obviously promoted, my paid programs, right? But again, you can take someone through a free course that basically is a webinar experience. So if you think about it, if you are creating a webinar that is intended to promote your program and give value, your free course can be what that program is, right? Again, whether you're doing a webinar or whether you're creating a free course, the pieces of a free course and a webinar are going to be you positioning the what it is and why it's beneficial, but the how they create it or how they can get the results they want is your program, right? Kind of a teaser, yeah, but the teaser has a tremendous value, and it's more of you create the awareness and you create the awareness and you create the aha, and you do give value, because that oftentimes is all someone needs, right? They just need to know what are those highlighted pieces, right? You have to reframe what they assume, and that's really some of the biggest things you can do in a webinar and in a mini course is create the this is what it is. This is why it's going to help you, and show case studies to back it up and things like that. Like that's the power of a webinar, right? People are like, oh, that's why I need this, right? Well, maybe teach what versus how in paid. Yes, you teach the what and the why, and then the how is in the paid version. Exactly. That's what I said. Exactly. And here's a reason. Free education builds trust, right? And that's why obviously free webinars work well too. So I'm telling you that there's something about cross pollination of content. Now, we are a webinar, we have a webinar platform, and because we are a webinar platform, we eat, drink, sleep, and everything else webinars, right? We believe in them wholeheartedly. But the cool thing is that you can position content in different ways. So just imagine your hour-long webinar. If you spliced it into 10 videos and had it into a membership site like Teachable and made it free in Teachable, you could be positioning your paid program, right, through a series of videos that someone's watching, and it's basically the same type of content that would be in your webinar, right? It's basically the same type of content that would be in your webinar. And if someone is not, and this is for those of you who, if you're not getting your people come into your webinar, you feel like webinars aren't necessarily connecting, or let's say people come through the webinar and they still don't buy. The cool thing about a free mini course is that it doesn't take much work to do. You can splice out your 10 video, your webinar into 10 videos, and repurpose that content to deliver to the same people who came to the webinar that didn't buy. So you're giving them a different way to consume the same type of content. It's called cross-pollinating your sort of funnels, right? If someone went through the free webinar then landed in a paid membership, would they feel gypped if like they were paying for content they already saw? Well, no, because in a free webinar into a paid, again, that should only be, you're getting them into the paid directly. But if you're talking about getting them into a mini course, right, or a free course, right, it should be at the same level of your webinar. So again, that's like you should have definitely a value gap between a mini course and the actual offer, right? The full-blown offer, right? Does that make sense? And the thing about these courses that they're risk-free, which is a huge gift to your audience, right? And a lot of times they have an inherent intrinsic value, but just like webinars do. So I want you to start thinking about how you can maybe position yourself with that. When your audience is attending a free course, their mindset is different than if they are preparing to be sold to. That's the other thing. Again, really what this is about is that this is like taking what your audience is doing, and it is, your audience is used to possible, possible ways of how you are communicating to them, right? And if a communication method isn't working, it's almost like switching it up and giving them a different way to communicate, right? Which is always good because that it breaks up the monotony, right? And so think about that. How maybe a free course might be able to free someone's mindset, right? They are more open-minded, their guard is lowered, and they are eager to take the gift you are offering them. So where you are repurposing the clips from the webinar? Yes, so exactly. Your webinar, again, the free course can be your webinar that's cut up, basically, right? You take your webinar, because some people do it the opposite way. Some people create the free course first, and then they build a webinar around that same positioning of the free course. Or some people start with the webinar, and then they build out a free course. Okay. Again, you have the product already. If you have an hour-long webinar, you have a mini course already. Okay. Can we host videos for free course on EasyWebinar? Of course, that's what a webinar is, though. That's what a webinar would be. So yes, that's exactly what that would be. But we don't have that type of platform. You'd have to use something like Teachable or Wishlist and things like that, which I'm going to share more of those in a minute. Do you show your face in a free course or just slides? I think both is good. I think both would be good. Now, and again, it's basically about how your audience really likes to resonate you, in what way they enjoy connecting and engaging with you, right? So, but does this make sense, guys? This is giving you another way, another angle, another layer of being able to communicate the same messaging in a different way. An hour-long presentation is great, but maybe you have an audience that can't sit still on video, one webinar, one thing. And so they might need, 10 videos sent, or let's say like how mine is, the webinar mini course is 4 videos sent every few days, right? Every few days is a 4 video series, and the final video series, that's the mini course is a pitch, basically, right? Yeah, it's kind of Jeff Walker style. Exactly. That's right. That's right. And I think it's important to think about how you can maybe leverage, different kind of concepts and ideas. If you can help people without asking for anything in return other than their email and time, that the ties of loyalty and relationship bond is stronger. But you guys know this. But again, free education helps you build your community. You give information, they give you their email, and bam, now you have a good relationship. And oftentimes, this is a strong way to build your email list through a mini course as well, right? A webinar, mini course. I've shared content. I've shared these with you before, where I had live webinars, automated webinars, mini courses, challenges, right? These are different types of ways to build your email. And again, the most popular ones that I've done have been the mini courses, the webinars. First off, that's kind of my top tier is webinars, and then from webinars is mini courses, and then leveraging the two together in a kind of a cross-pollination funnel, right? Where people come through the webinar. If they don't buy, I get them into the course, and I close some more sales because I give them a different way to consume the same content, but it's a different way. And that's what does the trick. Yeah, and there are other ways you could do this. You could offer free courses on various topics that start to segment your audience in your email database. Again, free webinars and free courses are kind of the same concept, but the course and both course and webinar denote that you're offering something else up. So let's say, as an example, I've done 8 new webinars, 9 new webinars over the last, 9 weeks or something like that. Each of those webinars can now be taken, we can splice them into different video pieces, video content, put them into a platform like Teachable, and have them as lead generation tools for, to get people eventually into what? Easy Webinar, right? Or whatever my program is, right? And they can, so they're wonderful list building tools. And then you can also segment people through that process. And free education allows you to also test and refine your message. Maybe, you may not every topic is going to land. Some topics are going to land more than others. As an example to this concept, as it relates to webinars, I've been doing these weekly webinars, and some of them have been, really hot topics where others have been duds, right? And that's okay. It's good to test these things out. And it's also good to, if you run a webinar and maybe something hits, and now, okay, I'm going to run that webinar, and now I'm going to automate that webinar, I'm going to have that running. Well, then you can think of, well, let's see how it's performing. I see that there's conversions that I'm missing. I'm going to now turn it into a course. Okay, I'm going to turn it into a course, use that, and then if people don't buy off the webinar, I push them into my now the course version. I have to hop on, please send replay. Okay, so valuable. I've been doing courses for 3 years. Awesome, Lindsay. Awesome. Is Teachable a part of Easy Webinar? No, it's not. Teachable is not a platform around Easy Webinar. I'm not pitching Teachable. I'm not pitching a platform today, guys. This is just me sharing content. But Teachable is a good platform. Thinkific, Wishlist, Membarium for those who want to use WordPress. Again, I'll share more, and I'll give you guys the sheet that has all that information on it. So test out messaging and see how it performs. Does it reach your goals? Refine and try again. That's really what it's about, right? Also, you can test different promotional offers, right? Find the win-win that motivates your audience to buy and allows you to scale. So these whether you're doing these free mini courses or whether you're running free webinars and then making different offers and pitches, you're really trying to gauge what that perfect, what really resonates with people and what makes them connect and what makes them want to stick around and buy and feel like they're getting an amazing deal. And also the other thing is when you lead with content and you lead with education and value, you are setting up an experience for people, and you're building up such a you're building up goodwill that will basically be an asset for you later, right? These are maybe future sales that are going to be coming down the pipe. And, sometimes you have to think about this. The sales cycle can be quite long. It can be quite long. But if you are consistently giving value, now you have value pipelines, right? Think about this, a value pipeline. You have people that are in your value pipeline, and you're consistently giving value, whether it's through weekly blog articles or through webinars or through mini courses, and they're checking your stuff out. And eventually, after being in this cycle, they buy. But for you, you're not having to wait for them to buy because you are already in the cycle. You have people in the pipeline. And what I'm going to share with you in a minute here is a way to launch a program and how to start getting people in your value pipeline, people on your email list, people in your value pipeline, building a know, like, and trust so that by the time you do launch out, you've already built up that value gap, that value piece to where they're really wanting to come in, right? And again, the whole idea about this is your audience by this time knows and likes you. Now you have experienced now they've experienced the value of your offer. So, going through and now asking for money, from your free course or your webinar to now paid or moving up the ascension model into higher paid, levels makes sense, right? It makes sense. So trust ultimately leads to easier future sales, more wallet share, and lifetime loyalty, okay? Trust in sales. 90% of buyers want to personally connect with the person selling to them when they are first learning about a product. And only 24% of sales emails are opened, whereas 7 in 10 engage in a video during the buying process, right? And 79% of consumers prefer buying from people who are trusted advisors. So these are just points that allow you to understand that there's not, people aren't just going to open up an email, especially nowadays for connecting with people, you have to be able to connect with them in a bigger and better way. Video courses and webinars are that bigger, more communicative, more in your face, I am here, this is me way. And you're going to find that you're going to gain sales from that, right? You are the trusted advisor. You're not a salesperson, you're a trusted advisor, right? Okay, now what I want to do is now pivot to seeing if you guys have any questions. Okay, I want to find out if you have any questions. And actually, what I'm going to also do now is I'm going to go in and grab my Evernote file. Is that cool? And I'm going to give it to you. You ready for this? You ready for this? Here we go. First, let me go in and share my application window. Here we go, share. Okay, now I need to grab, I think it's this button, show your notes in full screen. I'm trying to, I can't remember how to give you guys this. Let's see. Oh, let me go into maybe the Evernote, and that's how I do it. Okay. Because I've done this before where I shared it out. New notes. Does anybody remember how to turn? I thought it was right up here where it's just like, what's this? No. Whoa, got it. Okay. Actually, let me get rid of this. Okay. Well, either way, you guys, let me go through this first. And if yes, this is a live webinar. File to export. Okay, thank you. Thank you. File to export. Okay, maybe, but I remember I could just share a link. This is what I also remember. So let me here we go. Watch this. I'm gonna share my screen. And so I'm gonna share. Okay, now so let me go through this, and then I'll see if I can get this as a link to get out to you, because that was my plan, is to give it as a link. More sharing. Email a copy. Oh, wait a minute. Copy public link. I think I got it, guys. I think I got it. Here we go. Okay. Okay, click on that. Does that give it to you? Do you have it now? Okay, did it open it up for realsies? Okay, phew. Okay, good. All right, well, now let's go through it. Is that cool? Sorry, it took me a little bit. Been a little rusty with the Evernote. Apologies. Okay, let me go in and get into this. Also, if I take this full screen, do you guys see it? If I go full presentation, let me know if you see it if I go full presentation mode. Because this would be helpful if I could. But let me just find out from you guys if it does actually work. Font is small, but I can toggle. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Well, let me go through this and start doing it. So, creating and launching a course in 60 to 90 days. This is a program I used to have called LaunchStream, and I decided that I would list out about 16 things that you guys can do over the next, basically the next 8 to 12 weeks to crush it. Okay. Okay, you can see fine. That's good. And if you need to, guys, you could just like take your mouse and zoom in if you needed to, or just open it up in front of you. Now, this is for you if you are someone who's a future existing course creator who wants to scale up their impact, time, and customer retention. This is also for coaches and consultants who maybe want to roll in a course piece to leverage their time better and productize their services and create an organized way of learning for clients. So again, we have a whole group coaching program that is done with you that is intended for course coaches and consultants and course creators who want to scale up and deliver a higher impact type of program that leverages your time, but also has a higher ticket, right? But let's talk about this. If you have a course and you haven't totally launched out yet, I'm going to share with you the second time I ever launched a programming course, right? Remember I told you the first time I ever launched a course, it took me 6 months to build, and then I could not launch it. The only way I was able to get it out into the world is through webinars, right? That's the only way I was ever able to sell my stuff, was through the power of webinars, okay? And that was how it worked. The second time I ever launched a program, it took me basically, I wrote the program in a week, okay? I wrote the program and the course was built in a week. Does that make sense? I built the course in a week. You want to know how? You want to know how? You guys are probably wondering, unless you maybe have already done something like this. So the second time I did this, I realized that I wanted to, gotta crack my neck. I wanted to know if my program was going to land, if it was going to be something people would buy. So what I did is I positioned it through a webinar experience. I surveyed my peeps, and I started to build the course based on that survey, and I pre-sold it. I pre-sold my second course. It took me a week to test out the ideas behind what people needed, and then took me that's in that same week. It took me that enough time to outline the program, right? To outline the program. So again, I outlined the program. I built it. I created the concept of the program and how it was going to be laid out in a week, and then spent the next several weeks promoting it and pre-selling it prior to actually launching it out. Okay, that makes sense? So let's go through this. Create a course in 8 weeks, 8 to 12 week steps. So number one, you're going to outline your course. So if you have a framework or book, this is one way you could do it. Take that chapter book and structure your course in the same way, right? Use Google or Google Docs, Google Doc and Google Drive for your course management, right? So create a Google Doc, lay out your course inside there, right? Outline the program. You guys probably all have frameworks, right? Who doesn't have a framework? I'm assuming you all have frameworks. And if you don't have a framework for your course yet or program, look at what you do to get people results. That's your framework, okay? If you're doing something manually every single time for people, then and you're like, man, this is taking forever. I have to talk to this guy over and over again on the same thing. That's a framework. That's a piece that you need to teach so that it leverages your time. That's a point of, that's where you have a piece of framework. Or if you've ever written a book, how many of you have books? Go and put it in the chat if you have a book. Because if you have a book, your chapters are oftentimes going to be your framework, right? They're the things that Stefan says me, Kareem says wrote an ebook. Cool. This makes sense? So that's your framework. And then I want you to, after you've structured your framework, you know what it's going to be, you've tested this, I'm going to share with you how to test this stuff, okay? First, I want you to go with your framework, because chances are, if you have a framework, you've already tested it, right? And so this is your framework. But then what you're going to do is you're going to choose a date for your launch, the launch of your program, right? So let's say it's 2 months away, right? your program launch date, I would always say do a 2 or 3 month window, like a launch window, runway. Give yourself a 3-month runway before you decide to launch, right? I'd say 2 months is fine. If you really want to push it, go 3 months, but 2 months before, 3 months before, you're making the decision, I'm going to launch my program at that time. Now, leading up to that, you're going to survey your peeps to know exactly the type of things that they need clarity on, and make sure that your framework is in line with that, with what their needs and pain points are, right? And then what you're going to do, if you say, let's say you make your date August 10th, right, as an example, right, and your program will run for anywhere like between 6 and 8 weeks. Okay, so think about that. You could actually do a program for 12 weeks as well. I've done 6 and 12. I think the good middle of the road is an 8-week program. So think about how you might be able to structure your program, your offer, your program, to be like an 8-week program. How many of you guys have something like that? Like you've created like in your mind, like a 6-week step-by-step program or an 8-week step-by-step program, right? And if you have it and you have it as a course, that's fine, because you already have the course. But for those of you who don't have the course, I would suggest to you to think of this as a cycle, right? This is going to be then for the next 8 weeks, 6 weeks, you're going to learn about this. You're going to get these results, right? So over the next 6 weeks, we're going to work together to get these results. So again, that's how long your program should be. I've done a 4-week program, a 6-week program, a 12-week program. I think 6 to 8 weeks is great. So here we go. So you'd say start your date on August 10th, let's say, right? And then what I would suggest is you create an early bird list right away, right? Create an early bird list of people interested in the program, and start to get that list together, and maybe make a video highlighting what the program is, why they need it, and see if your existing audience is interested in the program, right? Push it out on social media, from your email list, or even reaching out to individuals to see if they had interest in this program, right? That would be what you could do to start to get an early bird list created and people hitting that list. Now, again, I find that you don't get as much traction when you just send like an email to like a early bird list without a video. I like video. I like stuff like this, right? So I think you should create a video, a 2 to 2 minute video that highlights why someone should come into this, why you created this course, and why they should sign up for the early bird, because something's coming, it's launching, and it's going to be exciting, and you'll tell them about it when it's ready to go, right? Sorry, taking my gum out. All right, so you get an early bird list and you start pushing it out there, right? So create a landing page for that early bird list. Use ClickFunnels or lead pages or something like that. You can also use an autoresponder such as ActiveCampaign to integrate into that. One thing I would actually say is a lot of people will use EasyWebinar's replay page, which is really interesting. They'll use EasyWebinar's replay page as a video sales letter page, right? Where you can do the exact same thing I'm talking about, right? As an example, here, let me just give you guys an example of what this looks like. Event links, here we go. Here, I'll send this to you. And this, you could very well use EasyWebinar's replay pages as this as well. So if you already have EasyWebinar, you could simply use EasyWebinar for a sales, almost like a VSL, video sales letter, right? Page, right? Because you can have the video, offers, you can have description below it, all sorts of stuff, and those can pop in at any moment, right? And you can have people signing up, always have a sign up now button showing up all the time during that. Okay, so once you've done that, you want to gauge interest. Determine if your audience has been resonating with your message. Check the stats and look at how many people are signing up or see your social responses when you ask about it. So like, you need to know that this is connecting with people, right? So check to see if when they hit the sales, that page, if you're getting people going to that page, but they're not signing up for the early bird, something's not hitting, right? You're not connecting in a big enough way. Maybe the video needs to be tweaked or changed, or the message, right? So once you determine interest, it's time to schedule a kind of a reverse engineered plan around attracting people into your offer. If you don't have an audience or an email list, this is where you're going to start list building, right? You're going to start doing list building strategies to build your new email list before launching your program. And in that page I just sent you guys, there's obviously, you'll see that it has underneath, it has like, list building, techniques like the best of list building, traffic to your webinars or traffic ideas, right? Things like that. So, but yeah, so you would start to do your email list building, right? And I have a preference in mind of how many leads I'd like you to have in that time. You may not hit it, but again, what I was telling you before is I had an email list of, what was it, 600 people. And I did like, I think it was, I did like 85,000 for that launch. So just realize that you don't have to have a massive email list to actually generate pretty decent sales, right? You just have to have a super engaged list, right? So the other thing is, number 7 is run weekly live webinars about various topics that discuss your audience's biggest pain point. Either 1 or 2 or 3, depending on how small of an email list you have. Now I'm talking about how many per week, right? So again, I'd say you could run once a week or 2 a week or 3 a week, but the goal, let's say the goal is you want to have 1,000 leads, right, on your early bird list. Think about how many you would need. Let's reverse engineer this. Calculator. Okay, let's reverse engineer this. If I'm getting 60 signups per webinar, right, 60 registrants times 3, that's 180. And I have 180 new leads coming in a week, 180. So I need, I have like a 2-month window, right? So that times, what is it, 8 is 1448, right? So if you can generate, if you can do like, let's say 3 webinars a week, and maybe you don't need to do that many, right? Maybe you can do like 2 webinars a week, and you can get 60 people signing up to your webinar each time, right? Then you can generate enough people on your early bird list to do quite well, right? And like, if you have 1,000 people on your early bird list, and you convert 10% of them, that's 100 people buying. And let's say your program is, for your early bird is $779. There's your 80 grand right there, right? And that's a 10% conversion, which on a live launch is not bad. On a live launch, that is not bad at all. Okay, not bad at all, right? So you're running these weekly webinars. Get them to sign up and consume your content. Get them to sign up for the early bird list. That is what you're promoting, right? In your free no pitch webinars, you're promoting getting them onto the early bird. And as I say, get 30 people or more showing up to your webinars. That's going to be about 60 people registering total for your webinars, right? For every webinar you run. And using Facebook Live and Easy Webinars, EasyCast tool, just like what we did. We just got some people from Facebook onto the email list just from posting this in Facebook. So now people are organically coming and seeing that Facebook Live we did, and now they're signing up for and registering for this webinar that I'm doing on the fly. So that's one way to do do list building. There's so many different ways. Another one that I think is as powerful, which I've talked about before, is the whole like doing a Facebook events, right? Setting up Facebook events, and from those Facebook events, doing inviting all of your people into those, right? And so you're going to get some of the same people, but you're going to get some new ones too. Does your launch always have to be live? No, I mean, we do evergreen launches all the time. All the time. Can EasyCast track how many came from Facebook Live? No. Well, it could, because you could have just like a bit.ly link that you're pushing into Facebook, like a special link that promotes your webinar from Facebook or YouTube, and then you can know that those people came in from those platforms, right? Yeah, just a different link would work. Does your launch always have to be live? Just to say, wait, but sorry about that. Let me see. I think there's a couple of the questions before this. How much did you say to give away in the pre-course list building webinar? In terms of content, you're going to give away think about it like this. You're going to give away the what it is and why it's valuable, but not the how. Okay. EasyCast track how many came from. Okay, I just told you that. Does a launch always have to be live? No, it doesn't. You could do evergreen launches, but this is if you've never put out a product before. What I do is I first for creating a course I've never done before, everything is manual. Everything you're doing is manual, because eventually you're going to evergreen the whole thing. So the first time I launched my course like this, where I pre-sold it, after I pre-sold it, I turned it into a course automated. So I ran it as a 8-week program, and in that actually this was a 12-week program, and every single week I had 2 live webinars per week. Okay, and those were my training webinars. One was the core training, and the other was a group coaching call, right? 2 of them every single week, right? For the next 12 weeks. And all that content after the 12 weeks went to a membership site, right? And that's one level. Another level is putting them into an automated webinar series, right? Or track, which we do as well. And I teach that in my other program, which if you guys want to know more about that, you can, let's see, I have this. So you can, if you guys want to check what that is and know what that's all about, that's what this is. This is a higher ticket program where we do have stuff in a membership, but we also have a webinar track as well. And so this is how I do it after the course. So but the answer is you evergreen after. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, so you're doing this, and what you're going to do is, so that's how you build your email list. There's so many different ways, and this is not necessarily about building your email list today. This is more about like launching and course creation and stuff like this, and getting your courses out there quickish. I'd say quick, but 2 months is actually pretty good, rather than my 6 months to build it and then 4 months before I actually made any money on it. So that's 10 months, right? No one wants to go through that. Now you're going to start to sell your program 10 days before your program starts. Okay, so do a webinar for those who signed up to your earlier list. All the webinars before this, the 2 or 3 you're doing a week, or the 1 you're doing a week, these are all free, no pitch webinars. Now you're doing a pitch webinar that basically is going to promote your program to your early bird peeps. All 1,000 of them are now getting invited to this webinar, your webinar. And on that webinar, you're promoting your new program and talking about when it starts. You're sharing the what is, why it's going to be valuable, but the how is them joining the program, right? Again, I have training all about how to create a high converting sales webinar that positions your program and all sorts of stuff. So I'm not touching on that today. Of course, you use Easy Webinar to do these. You run your webinars with Easy Webinar. You then also repurpose your webinar through what I call the event launch blueprint, which I also have a training on as well. So basically, you are going to give your early birds a few days to take the offer before the price goes up, right? So let's say you're going to start the price at $779, and then you're going to increase it a few days later to $997, and that's when you launch at $997 for the rest of the public, right? But the majority of your sales are going to come from your early bird list. That is the case. So convert 10% of the people on your early bird list to sign up for the program. You are running that is going to be starting soon, right? Your 6 to 8 week program. Charge $779 for the early birds, $9.7 for the non-early birds. For the cart open time, run a series of live webinars that you convert to encore presentations and also into an automated webinars. Okay, and this is leveraging my event launch blueprint to generate serious sales. And the whole idea behind this is that Easy Webinar does this really effectively, where you can start a live webinar. That same live webinar, you go and then you make that into an encore presentation the following day, and you're generating sales, and then you turn it into an automated webinar where it's just done completely automated, right? Encore presentation can be a pre-recorded video that you then have maybe live chat on, and then full automation is where you don't have the live chat, and stuff like that, right? Easy Webinar does all of those types of events. So number 16 rather, but I called it 15. Sorry. Run a live webinar on the final night of the offer, and do a Q&A to get any final questions finished and handle any objections to the sale. Show the buyers, say, hey, welcome, Jake, John, Elliot, Jane, Samantha, right? And for social proof. And again, I have more training on this, and this is just, guys, this is just kind of like the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, in terms of content that I have, that I've taught on, that may be of value to you. The event launch blueprint is basically my how to basically take the power of webinars and generate 4 times the number of sales that you would typically do on just a one-time live webinar. And then you'll notice in this sheet that I have, the best of list building, live webinars, automated webinars, 5-day challenges, 30-day webinar challenges, free webinars, video series, free PDFs. Again, we talked about free video series and live webinars today. Traffic to your webinars, check these out. We talk about Facebook Live, Facebook and Instagram ads, live video broadcasts weekly into Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope to promote a weekly webinar. This may take a little bit of syndicating content. Traffic to your webinar, blogs, video content, 30 pieces of content, the 10 by 10 by 10 method. Create 30 pieces of video content, which is basically 10 case study videos, 10 frequently asked questions, and 10 should ask questions, and have those turned into blog articles on your website. And you have basically about 1 year of content that you can use. Put those same videos on YouTube. Make sure you SEO the videos to get them ranked in Google, and link back to the blogs through YouTube cards, etc. YouTube video ads, you could leverage pre-roll ads to get your short video content in front of your audience on YouTube. Facebook organic. A tip is create Facebook events and invite your friends to it on a weekly basis, and then move them into your weekly live webinars using Easy Webinar. Pinterest. I had someone that was doing my Pinterest for a long time. His name is Sam, and he did really great work. One thing that I learned from him is create variations of one image for Pinterest, right? A lot of times people will create like a boatload of images, is costing them way too much money, unnecessary. Instagram, we increased our Instagram game, obviously. I went from 4,000 Instagram followers to 160,000 Instagram followers in an 18-month period of time. So I've learned about this stuff. But if I'm going to do this as a course, guys, I'm going to probably get some guest people to come in and talk. LinkedIn. What I've noticed is you got strong buyers on LinkedIn. Take whatever content you're putting out there on a weekly basis. I would say take 30 pieces of content and syndicate it across all these platforms, including LinkedIn. Okay. And you can see, guys, I add my favorite tools for business: CRM's Active Campaign, Infusionsoft, Entreport, ConvertKit, hosting for your website, best website creation. So like WordPress, obviously is what I do for most of my websites are WordPress based. But if you ever wanted to create a quick website, you could do that with Lead Pages and ClickFunnels. However, you're going to get more bang for your buck for having landing pages. So if you're just doing webinars, Easy Webinar does all this stuff. But if you wanted to create something that has landing pages, video sales letters, you can actually create, like website templates and stuff like that. You can use one of these platforms: Lead Pages, ClickFunnels, OptimizePress. Shopping cart platforms: Samcart, ClickBank, JVZoo, Infusionsoft, PayPal, Thrivecart. Two of the most popular ones I think are Samcart and Thrivecart. Thrivecart is a really good one. I think that they still have a one-time price offered on it, right? So I think you get that. And webinar platforms. Of course, we believe EasyWebinar is the best and most robust with more integrations, live stream options, automated abilities, and the rest and the rest underneath who can't do half of the cool repurposing things that EasyWebinar can do, right? And then project management software tools. There's Slack, Asana, Trello, Teamworks, Basecamp. For our marketing team, we use Slack and Basecamp. For our software engineers, we use Slack, Teamworks, and Microsoft. Okay, because we have some people people across the world that also have designs, and they just need a little more in terms of development. But a simple project management tool is Basecamp. Scheduled platforms, Calendly, schedule once. Use when doing a coaching or consulting funnel to sell people into your higher ticket programs. Again, this is something we teach in our Tribe Minded method, which I put the link to that webinar. If you guys want to check out that webinar and then sign up for a strategy call to see if you're a good fit for that program, you can do so. But do watch that webinar. Membership sites, Kajabi, Teachable, and Thinkific. You can also do underneath there, you can see the WordPress-based membership site tools like Wishlist or Membarium. And Membarium can integrate with what's called LearnDash, which is almost like a learning management tool. And it can also integrate with things like Infusionsoft, which can pass tags and stuff like that. So again, if you are just starting out though, you want something simple, quick, I would say that a Teachable or a Thinkific are going to be fine tools to use. Okay. And let's see. And then tools for course creation. ScreenFlow for Mac is a really good one. Sometimes people will use EasyWebinar to create a course. They'll again, what I've been teaching you guys is that you can create a course before it's actually, you sell the course and then you run the course live, right? And when you run a course live, where's my, I can't seem to get back to my, when you run a course live, you are going to be running that, you're basically going to be, you can use EasyWebinar and then basically record all the sessions, and then after those sessions are in the recorded archived area of EasyWebinar, download them and save them basically, and put them into a membership site, right? So that is something you can definitely do, and that can work quite well for you, right? Let me bring this back over. There we go. Okay. When I use EasyWebinar Practice, will people see me, especially on YouTube Live? No, because this is not pumping through YouTube Live, Alina. This is using our live engine. So we're recording this, but this is the thing. ScreenFlow. But if you wanted to actually create a course and use like a screen capture software, ScreenFlow is really great for Mac, right? It's a screen capture and editing software. That's what I've used for pre-creating my courses. Camtasia as well for pre-creating my courses. That's for PC. But EasyWebinar can do all that too, and you can run the webinar. You can run it live, right? You can run it using EasyWebinar live and create all the content ahead of time, just like what we're doing here, right? So every single week you have 2 webinars going out every week. Boom, 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 boom. That's how we do it with our system. That's how we have it, right? So again, I hope this was helpful. Let me bring myself back in. You guys, did this make sense? Was this helpful for you? Yeah? And do you have any questions? Any questions from what I just shared? Of course. Well, yeah. I'm glad it was helpful for sure. Well, now, what I can do is, no, you've done a great job. Thank you so much. How many of you are existing EasyWebinar peeps? Because never thought of pre-selling a free course. Yeah. Well, no. You don't pre-sell a free course. You pre-sell a paid course. You run it. You can run a free course as from the beginning, right? But you can run a free course in the beginning. But no, the whole idea is that a free course or webinars that you push out prior, right? They're more like lead magnets. They're more like getting people interested, and then you pre-sell the course that you're going to run paid, right? Oh, Varesh said, I've just signed up on Easy Webinar on the Pro plan. That's awesome, Varesh. Thank you. And I'm not sure you guys. So for those of you who are aren't yet Easy Webinar customers, I do have a deal for you if you want to hear about it. Right now, let's see if you click on that, should bring you into a page where you can get Easy Webinar. Okay, so if you guys are not yet Easy Webinar customers, but you want all the bells and whistles of Easy Webinar, you want to use the EasyCast tool, you want to use all the things, I have an opportunity for you today where you can get, when you purchase Easy Webinar Pro, which if you go to the website, you can get Easy Webinar Pro, but you pay for it for a year in advance. You buy it for 12 months. I'm rolling in my webinar course called Elite Webinar Mastery. Some of you may have come to one of my previous sessions where I talked about this. And so that program sells for $2,000 on its own, but today you can get access to it when you purchase the Easy Webinar Pro. Do we have a white label? We do not have a white label. However, we do have a reseller license, a reseller option and opportunity, William. Inside Easy Webinar, once you become a customer, you can buy accounts at a discount. Now, what that means is right now we have a discount. It's literally 75% off of whatever package you get. So if you get Easy Webinar and you get the Pro version, and you go inside, and you can actually get accounts that are 75% off, and you can use those for your clients. And so we, like as an example, we have one customer who is using our platform, and she has 129 reseller accounts that she created, right? So 129 of her clients have their own Easy Webinar login, and they have their own Easy Webinar Pro accounts. And we are giving her, she's paying for it, and it's basically 75% off of the actual full price. And we're changing that because it's too much. We're giving too much away. I'm sorry about that. And it's so we're giving too much away. So we're moving that to about 30%, 30 to 35% is the plan on that, because it's really a high value, especially for marketing agencies. This is it's an agency-based reseller, right? So you have master control of all the people you sign up. They have their own login, and that's it. But you can go into their accounts. You can you can go into their accounts, see the webinars that they have, and just manage them. So you become like a webinar management system and tool. So if that's your question, William, we do have something like that. So who collects the money? You do. You pay. You just buy the account. So like you would have to buy 10 accounts, right? Or 15 accounts. So I don't touch your client's money. You charge your client whatever you want, right? You pay us 75. You buy a second license at 75% discount, and then you charge your client whatever, right? That's you could charge your client whatever you want. I mean, I know that these people that have 129 accounts, they're charging really good money to their clients. We're only charging, I don't know, $50, $30 or something ridiculous like that. And they're charging probably $300. Can one host an automated course on Easy Webinar? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And that's how we've done it. One of that's what we teach in our Tribe Minded program, how to create a sort of what we call a live course that is pre-recorded though. So every single week, we get people into a track. It's called the 6-week fast track program. And in it, we have a 6 weeks of pre-recorded webinars. Every single week they're invited to a new webinar, but also every week we have a live group coaching calls, and they also get access to a membership area. And we have, we have homework and things they have to accomplish over those weeks, right? So we work with them in that way. And yes, we do stuff like that, and you can do that with Easy Webinar, right? So, Easy Webinar was designed to do 3 things. You guys probably know this. Get you more customers, keep the customers you have, and save you time and ultimately money, right? And when we're talking about getting new customers, we're talking about running live or evergreen marketing webinars that build a know, like, and trust that do the selling for you. And when we're talking about keeping the customers, using evergreen webinars or live webinars for onboarding your new customers, clients, and employees, right? And save you time and ultimately money by going beyond the one-to-many ratio of marketing that a live webinar allows and entering into evergreen webinars that ultimately duplicate your success over and over again, right? Since I've signed up for the Pro plan, can I get access to the EWM course? Varesh, if you signed up and paid monthly, the answer is unfortunately no. This is only if you pay for the yearly. You have to invest in us $1,080 for the year to get the course that's cost $2,000. Right? That's how we're doing it. But if you paid for the yearly, although if depends on how you came, you can't get this on the website. You can only get a 14-day trial, right? So you can't really get this on the website. This is something we only offer here. It's not on the website. You don't see the course on the website either, right? Here are some people that have used Easy Webinar. Rick Mulready used Facebook and Easy Webinar to make 166% return on investment. Pretty awesome. Again, this is what you can get with Easy Webinar, built-in a template library. Easy Webinar is basically like has all the things you need in a registration process, right? So, or a funnel basically, right? Easy Webinar is kind of like a funnel: registration page, thank you page, event page, replay page, all the emails for pre and post notifications, and all the things, right? It's a live HD webinar platform. You can push your content to Facebook Live and YouTube Live, like we mentioned, using EasyCast. It was originally designed as an automated webinar platform, so it does them really well. It's all fully hosted on the cloud. It has analytics tagging based on actions, reminder notifications, as I just mentioned, one-click signups, advanced APIs with all the most popular email systems and autoresponders, such as well as HubSpot, Marketo, which aren't actually on here, and Zapier integration, offers and chats we can push out, and polls, and advanced automated webinar scheduling as well. And here are just some clients: Bob Proctor, Jay Shetty, who uses us. This works really well in the religious, in multiple different niches outside of being a course creator. Like this, if you're a consultant, or this is Joshua, who did webinars to get more people into his congregation on the right. Terry is a real estate agent who used Easy Webinar and webinars in his book that he promoted. At the end of it, they signed up for his small webinar into account and then got onto a strategy call. So if I want to promote 5 different courses via Evergreen, do I need 5 agency accounts with different URLs? If you have, yes, if you want different URLs, but you can have 5 different webinars, but they're not going to be different URL structures. They're going to be, they're all going to be the same URL structure. You know what I mean? Because you can create an unlimited number of webinars with Easy Webinar. We're not putting a cap on how many webinars you create, right? But if you wanted to do it to where it's not all going from, catch dogs in my house .easywebinar.live, because you have maybe that niche is contrast to the another niche you may have and own, then I would suggest you getting a different, you get the reseller, and then you can put a different URL on there and everything else, right? That's a good question, by the way. Tanya Eliza, she's someone who's got like 2 6-figure webinars running on Easy Webinar. Here's Mark. You guys rock. You are always adding new functionality. Love Easy Webinar. Just ran my first auto webinar last week and made over $8,000. We got a lot of these guys. We got a lot of these, and you guys have probably seen this. Made over 107 since last August using Easy Webinar. Let's see here. Course creators, obviously. Casey has changed our lives. We were doing 2 to 3 live webinars a week with a family and a job. I was tired. With your automated system in place, we have freedom and sales coming in consistently. Thank you, from Eric and April Perry. Live webinar results. Tanya Liza does 100, or Alana Cavalia does 100,000 a month from her webinar. Amy Porterfield has 3 powerful webinars running through Easy Webinar, generating several million per year. Again, we have a lot of these guys. Jeremy Bellotti, who's positioning more of as a webinar consultant, he's prime for our reseller, right? This that type of person. So if you guys are anybody here that is a marketing agency, how many marketing agencies do we have? Any marketing agencies? Let me know. I run an agency. Okay. Are you doing webinars services? Because the thing also about Elite Webinar Mastery, my program, is that right now it's perfect for people that want to add webinars into their book of business. The reseller is good because you could just buy it and give it to and have your clients start using it, right? Again, you know, we have one woman who's you know bought 129 reseller accounts for our pro level. Yeah, just getting started with webinars. Yeah, I was going to offer EW as a bonus. Well, William, you might as well buy a bunch of them and or say, hey, you know, charge whatever you want for webinar management. You know, we'll build your webinar, and then we'll build your webinar, and then we'll promote it, and now we're managing it per month, right? With our proprietary software that we use, makes sense for sure. So let's see. I just want to see here. So what I have, I want to talk about the opportunity here. So, it was funny because when we decided to do this stuff, we thought 2,000 paid annually was fair for our 500 attendees pro package, right? Because it came with all the bells and whistles. You have the Facebook Live, YouTube Live. It had all the custom fields and integrations, the APIs and stuff like that, except HubSpot and Marketo. That's more of an enterprise level. Because also, if you think about it, just one live webinar, one live event with 30 attendees selling a $1,000 product run through Easy Webinar could easily recoup that investment more. That's what I was talking about, guys. 10% is average, is pretty normal on a webinar. You should be able to convert. If you have 30 people on, 3 people should buy, right? Or if you had one automated webinar selling your courses, products, services consistently, like one webinar can generate 7 figures for people. We have people that, like this guy, it's $20,000 a month without fail from one webinar. He was doing $5K before that, right? So we also thought about this because software like GoToWebinar, which only does live webinars and replays, charges $23.88 for their 500 attendee package, and it only does live webinars. It doesn't have live and evergreen expiring replay pages. It doesn't have the YouTube Live and Facebook Live EasyCast tool. It doesn't have the ability to take YouTube and Vimeo and use those as streaming tools in our system, right? You can't do any of that with GoToWebinar. But then we thought we wanted to do one better, but while still offering a kick butt feature set for marketing your business, right? So instead of $2,000 a year, which is still less than GoToWebinar, we thought to drop the price to $129 a month paid yearly, which is $15.48. That's for the pro account, okay? And that gets you everything. That gets you all the stuff except the Marketo and Salesforce integrations. And pretty soon, we actually have some changes that are going to be coming down the pipeline where we are going to be changing the way the pro goes, the standard goes. Right now, chances are you're going to get a better deal if you come in now, because we're going to be changing these packages around very, very soon. Okay, these packages are changing very, very soon, and we're going to actually be not upping our price necessarily, but we are going to be changing the packages around for what you get in each one, right? As an example, Pro will have less attendees available when we'll launch the new pricing out, right? And there's reason for all of that, and we'll learn more about that. But if you come in now, you'll get it at the 500 attendees. But then we decided to drop the investment down to yearly bundle to 1080 per year, which gets you all of that. Okay, so 1080 per year gets you all of that. Everything that we see here, right? You also get a 30-day onboarding call or a priority onboarding call, chat. You just get a whole bunch of stuff. But before you go running off to EasyWebinar to buy, you should do it right here, because I have something for you. When you come in, I'm going to be rolling in a bonus, which is my Elite Webinar Mastery program, which I just talked about. And you click on the offer button, it will bring you to the page where you can get access to it. Okay. This is basically my complete webinar learning system on how to kill it with webinars and EasyWebinar. So it sells for $2,000 on its own, but you can get access to it when you come on through. Because here's the thing, you need a webinar strategy for scalability, right? And the breakdown of the Elite Webinar Mastery program is, it has 4 core modules, has foundation, pre-webinar phase, going live, and post-webinar phase. And the foundation is like everything about like getting, what kind of webinar, making sure your audience is correct, your pricing, the messaging, all the things that you need core, right? That probably most important stuff. And then pre-webinar phase is launching the webinar, right? I actually touched on a lot of stuff that today that's in this program too. Going live, the ways to increase conversions when you are doing a live webinar. Post-webinar phase, most of the money on a webinar is not made from that live webinar. It's made after the webinar. And a lot of people don't do this right. So that's why I teach this method. This is valued at $51.88, okay? $51.88 for the core stuff. All needed, says Natalie. Yeah, for sure. But then we go beyond that. We have supplemental training, bonus content, such as like how to find JVs and project, how to hire the right employees, how to use Infusionsoft, Facebook ad training, all sorts of stuff that we're adding as bonus content. And then beyond that, we have swipe files, worksheets, and pre-done templates, like email templates for pre-notification, post-notification, emails that are invite emails that would go out to your email list in different, and how many you would send out, and what they need to say, and how you need to position it, right? You can then also get access to our archive group coaching sessions and office hours, and you get access to my paid coaching student Facebook group, right? So I have a student Facebook group that is for paid members only, right? So if you're a paid member and you're part of this program, you get access to that group. It's only for coaching students and paid members. And in it, we are going to be streaming once a month. We stream our tribe-minded group coaching sessions. So you can be a fly on the wall. And our group coaching, Tribe-Minded, is my personal coaching program that is high ticket. And so those are people that I am personally coaching directly, right? If you wanted to learn more about that, webinar consultants, I think that's it. You click on that link and you can join a webinar that will teach about the 5 shifts you need to get tribe-minded, and then you can get on a call with Tony to see if we can help you go the extra mile. But if you come into this program first, you can get kind of a flavor, a taste of it. You can see some of those coaching sessions that are really valuable for people, and come on in. And so what I would suggest is, guys, come on in to that offer. Is that still up? Should say, yes, I am ready. And let me answer any questions you guys have. In the course or on the recordings, does one have control over whether someone watching can fast forward or back up or lock out that option? How how do I hope I expressed that correctly? So Natalie, our automated webinars, people do not and cannot fast forward or rewind our automated webinars. Whether you're watching on your iPhone or wherever, it doesn't matter. They can't watch it like that. On a replay, it's different. Replay, they can fast forward and rewind, but in our automated webinars, don't give them the option of fast forwarding, rewinding. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Can we? And that's how our webinar trainings are, right? Because what we notice is people, when they come to our when people join my coaching program, they show up to our webinars and we see if they're there, and they ask questions and they have to submit homework and stuff, right? Can we send an email to people immediately when they drop off? No, we don't. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Because you can actually send tagging through your email system like ActiveCampaign and know if someone left early. So we have all the tags. So we have left early tags and all these universal tags. And we have campaigns that we also give to our coaching students. We give them these campaigns. They are re-register campaigns that take into consideration all those tags. So if someone registered but no showed, we send them through a re-registration. If someone showed up but didn't stay to the end or left early, they go into a series. If they see the offer and click it but don't buy, or they see the offer and don't click it and don't buy, we put them into a different series. And so we have all these tags that we have in Easy Webinar that can be passed through into different platforms. And we also give these funnels away. If you have Infusionsoft or ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit or Ontraport, we already have them pre-created that we give to our people that are in our high ticket coaching, because that alone is valued at massively. And then you can get a tech audit with someone on our team, and they'll basically help you set that stuff up. Okay, is there an HD video and audio option? Yes, we do have HD videos. HD stuff here. Yes, perfect. Or is that coming? No, that's already there. I'm selling a live streaming course and need to show quality of video and audio. Okay. So let me stop sharing. Am I coming in clear? Yes, your screen is very clear. Michael says no, I'm not clear. Blur, no. It's a meetings it's a meeting platform. Ours is more of a webinar based platform where you have like more people, on the webinar. We can have up, people up to 2,000 attendees. It's kind of a different experience, right? But I can make any participant here today a presenter, right? And I can have up to 4 with you. Yeah. Screen equals 24 hours money, which means that your presentation can be running 24 hours a day, whereas your live webinars can only happen one time, right? And then you lose that traction. And that's the power of Easy Webinars. You can take, after your live webinar is over, and all of my webinars, by the way, after I'm done with them, I turn them into evergreen, meaning that anybody still coming to those registration.
How's it going? So I've been streaming this session out for you. This was a session I ran all about course creation. I hope it was helpful. It's a little dark here. Sorry about that. But yeah, I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you at the next stream. And by the way, this was a few years old. So because it was older, because it was like a few years old, Easy Webinars changed drastically since then. So you come in now, Easy Webinar is much different. We have a lot of different both live features and evergreen features and stuff coming out very soon. So not only are we running we have paid webinars coming. We have AI webinars that are on our way out right now as well. So a lot of cool stuff's happening over the next 2 months. So keep an eye out. There's a lot coming out over the next 30 days. So anyway, I thought I'd stream this into YouTube, and that was about it. So again, YouTube land, come on through if you want to take a spin of Easy Webinar to sell your products and services better. That's what it's all about. All right.